Welcome back to What Matters This Week. I'm Lauren Maloney. Joining me this Sunday is the CEO of Let's Grow Kids, Alys Richards. Alys, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Lauren. Thank you.
Okay, so you were given a Changemaker for Children award recently, but let's back up a little bit. Tell everybody who may not know, what is Let's Grow Kids?
So Let's Grow Kids is a statewide movement for high-quality, affordable childcare for all who need it in Vermont by 2025. So it's this groundswell of Vermonters marching towards this very specific goal with this deadline.
Okay. And people out there have maybe seen the logo, but if those people aren't too familiar with it, if there's one theme or one message you could drive home, what would it be? That
early childhood education, high quality and affordable childcare is the chance that we have. It's our opportunity as neighbors, as Vermonters, as communities, to make the biggest impact we possibly can on our future. And I hope to go into that a little bit with you too. Why childcare? Why that platform? Because ultimately, and I think this is what Save the Children is really truly understands with spotlighting this, and what I firmly believe, early childhood is our ultimate level playing field. It's our chance to have the greatest possible impact. You know, every baby is born with that same spitting chance to have a happy and successful future. But almost as soon as they come home from the hospital, those odds start shifting. And so this is our way in Vermont, and then leading the nation, frankly. When we get it right, it's going to have a huge impact on the rest of the country to really show that we can support kids and families at this crucial time in their lives.
Now, Save the Children is a national organization, and they picked you to be a change maker for children. What does that mean to you? And when you got the news, what did you think?
Well, it's a huge honor. It's a huge honor to know that others out there are valuing early childhood education as I do, as we do in Vermont and at Let's Grow Kids. And it was actually, when I got the news, it was really a Mother's Day present, because I have intellectually understood how important this issue is. It's common sense, it's the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. There's very good science behind this now as well. But I always used to joke that I would maybe, do my best to try and fix the system and then have some of my own kids and put them into the system and see how I did. But the timing didn't exactly work out on that. And then I think the universe said, let's try something completely different. See how you handle twins. So actually, I am the proud mom of two identical twin boys, Bo and Wesley. They are just the greatest little guys.
And how old are they now?
So they're 7 months.
Okay.
And it was around Mother's Day when Save the Children, sort of came into Vermont actually and worked with me, gave me this honor. And, I have to tell you, you can understand this, but now I'm living it, and now I really get it. And the irony of all of this is, here I am, the CEO of Let's Grow Kids, and I have my own babies, and I cannot find childcare. Okay, so they're 7 months old. This fall, it looks like I'm going to be able to get them into a childcare center. And what is amazing about this is my husband and I are so lucky. We pretty much have our whole little village wrapped around us. My parents are nearby. We have really supportive employers. Obviously, my employer really gets this. We have friends and family, a deep social support network, and we are fully in the childcare jigsaw puzzle that so many Vermonters will understand. And so if we're struggling, it's been a real eye-opener for me. Think about it for a second. What about all these Vermonters that we know who do not have a single one of those supports that I just listed for you that we're so grateful to have?
And when did you start trying to figure out, I have to look into childcare? I mean, you were just a few months pregnant, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, honestly, it affected our decision about having kids. We see that across the country. Is that really okay with us, that this is such a challenge with childcare, that young families are actually factoring it in when they are trying to figure out whether or not to have kids? And so we started looking as soon as I was pregnant, and finding 2 infant slots in Vermont or anywhere in this country is nearly impossible.
So 2 was
absolutely
a troublemaker, so to speak, when it came to looking.
Absolutely.
Have you compared Vermont to other states when it comes to looking for such help, and how does Vermont fare out?
What we're seeing in Vermont is really true nationally. And one of the first things that we did in Let's Grow Kids was trying to figure out, I mean, honestly, look, we're just a group of people that care deeply about the state of Vermont. We want our families, our communities to thrive. We want our economy to be revved up. We want businesses here. And we ended up picking childcare as the single sort of root cause to get at all of this. And one of the first things we did was look at the data, and it's true both for Vermont and across the country. We found that 7 out of 10 kids under 6 in Vermont have all available parents in the workforce. So that is sort of just the new current reality. And where are they? Only 50% of that group has any access to regulated childcare. Of that, only a third is considered quality, and you might say none of it's affordable. We know that in Vermont, families are paying upwards of 40% of their household income on childcare. So I'm trying to sort of paint the problem, right? It's not affordable, it's not accessible, and it's not high quality, and parents really need it now more than ever in Vermont and across this country.
A couple of years ago, and I can't remember the particulars off the top of my head, but there was new rules and regulations when it came to, and I believe it was people who were kind of in the childcare business, doing it out of their own home, correct?
Yeah.
How did that affect the larger scale issue of trying to find care in the state?
It's a good question. So what we're seeing is we've actually have the same amount of child care programs, either in-home centers and schools, closing at the same rate, and nationally as well. A lot of folks actually are retiring out of it. What we're not seeing is the same amount opening. And so we're actually working at Let's Grow Kids not only to promote sort of policy objectives to really fix this problem once and for all, and when we do, we all benefit. We have no choice but to sort of fix this. We know exactly what to do and how to fix it. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, we have an obligation and a responsibility to do this for our families. And you know, so we're basically at Let's Grow Kids not only trying to do that policy piece, we're also trying to help child care centers grow, expand, open. But that's really the trend we're seeing. High quality is an incredibly important part of this. And so you really do need to push on quality, but at the same time, you have to make sure there's enough money in the system for parents to afford it and for those offering it to actually be able to keep their doors open. So it's really kind of this fully, you know, complex situation that we're attacking from all angles.
Yeah. You've been an advocate for some time, and you hinted on this a little bit, and I know your passion now, I can sense it, and your love for your 2 little boys. But how did it change emotionally, too, the drive and the advocacy part?
Oh, yeah.
You know, having these little 2 wonderful boys hanging around.
In a bunch of different ways. I mean, if you go way back too, one thing we're trying to do here is make Vermont the best place to live and raise a family. And there's real power to that. And my own story is that story. I'm a Vermonter because my parents actually said, they sat at their kitchen table in New Jersey, and they had no real geographic roots anywhere. And they said, we want to raise our kids in the best place in the world to do so. And they picked Vermont. And those of us who love and live in Vermont understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a Vermonter. And then I went out of state to work and for school. And I'm a Vermonter again because I came home to have kids. And now that I have these kids, it, as I said earlier, it really kind of breaks my heart to think about this. This is supposed to be the most wonderful time in your life. And it is. It really is. And it shouldn't be stressful. And yet it becomes the most stressful time in the lives of Vermonters, and I see it every day. They can't find care, they can't afford it, they've had to quit their job. So it's really raised my temperatures, you can tell. I was already pretty hot, and now it's hotter. Because this is so crucial. And then you hear about the stories. And I'd love to share at least this one story. So Nina Lemieux is the perfect example of this movement. She's a single mom of 3. And she has, what happened to her was what we call the childcare chain reaction, okay? She had an apartment, a job that she loved, she had moved up in, she had 2 kids in school and 1 still in childcare. Her childcare closed unexpectedly, okay? Setting off this childcare chain reaction that really shows the sort of depth of this issue. She tried to piece things together, she couldn't find replacement childcare, entered the jigsaw puzzle, and had to increasingly take off work. Finally had to take off so much work that she had to quit her job. She hoped she could come back to it. And then she burned through her life savings and had to give up her apartment, had to go on benefits, had no choice, did not want to do any of these things, just to put food on the table for her family because her childcare closed. She's finally digging out of this after years. She found childcare, but she had to go back to a job, a different job. Her old one wasn't available, didn't pay as much. You got it. And there's hope, I will say. You know, Nina's story and others, she became a champion. She heard about this movement. it moved her because of her personal story, and she was brave enough to tell her story, much better than I tell it, believe me. And she went in front of the legislature and testified. And as you can imagine, there was not a dry eye in the room. And she was part of a very significant part of a movement this year to get a $7.4 million increase in childcare. Now, that's significant. It's going to make a difference for thousands of Vermonters right now who can afford childcare or get, who already are, or get access to childcare who don't have it. But it's also just the first step to really fixing this issue.
Okay, this might be a little bit of a tough question. How do you plan on exemplifying or putting a total image to the title of Changemaker? Because that's quite a title.
Wow, that is a great question to think about. I think just redoubling our efforts every day, being as visible as we can, listening to the needs of Vermonters and sort of supporting them in the movement to get this done. I think the best way to be a changemaker is to really succeed in our mission by 2025, and we've got no choice. We have to do this for Vermont. And then being a leader nationally. Honestly, the other reason why I came home to have kids in Vermont is because I wanted to lead by example. And Vermont has done that so many times. We can do it. We're doing it on this issue.
Okay. So. Allie, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Lauren.
We'll be right back on What Matters This Week.